But and two, Zoran specifically ran on using the long arm of the government to create environments for New York landlords that are so unprofitable through the taxation power of the government that they would be forced to turn over the property to the government. And he wants to run the property as a government institution.
Well, that's why I'm one of his biggest donors.
Yeah, isn't that with the apartment buildings divisive? He came out with statements on taking over apartment buildings that are in poorer areas from the actual investors and landlords.
Yeah.
Just taking them and then putting them in like an NGO. Remember, it was something like that.
What?
That he came out.
You're right. So, do you ever think why they don't do something like reasonable, like when you have a certain amount of like serious violations and an owner, like whatever corporation or entity owns it, then comes up for review to see if they're like slumlords, and then it gets like sold to somebody who might actually take care of it. I feel like that would be an actual useful thing to do and like doable. All this other shit is just
I don't know, but I did promise Daniel that we would go back to him as soon as Darius got ticket. Hey Neil, go ahead, please.
So if I was to ask Abby's question with a different word, where has communism ever worked? I don't think we could find one true example. When we talk about socialism, there's an argument to be made that America has had a layer of socialism since the New Deal. And I think that Bernie rightfully calls himself a socialist, a democratic socialist. I don't think he's a danger to the American way. Some people might think so, that's fine. But clearly he's not out to like take over private property. I do not stand with a lot of his stances, but I think that he speaks for a lot of young people, that old man, and the people who follow him, that say that there can be a fair, more just, systemic way of handling the growth of capital so that more people enjoy it. That's not necessarily changing the whole capital system.
These are just platitudes. And with the argument about whether or not we're moving into a pure socialism versus socialism light or inspired by socialism is not the interesting question. The interesting question is if we are moving directionally towards socialism. And the government has proven over and over and over again that it is a bad custodian, it is a bad steward of our money. It does not deserve to be made larger and more powerful and siphon more wealth away from the private system, which made this country rich and powerful in the first place. It's as simple as that.
Do you think it should know how to pay its own bills without having to borrow money?
Yeah, if I were in charge, yes.
Well, we would have some agreement.
Can I get back into this conversation? I didn't run away. Coincidentally, it's funny that at that time, well, I'll just tell you that within 2 weeks, 2 air conditioners blew in my apartment. And I found the greatest guy to put it in. He happens to come from Russia to escape communism. And second one blew, second air conditioner blew, and I had to get in touch with him. And coincidentally, I said to him, by the way, I know you came from communism. He's a great guy to talk to. He's an engineer and all that. He's brilliant. Did a fantastic job. My air conditioner. So I said to him, what does socialism mean to you? I know what it means to me. I know what it doesn't mean to me. But what does it mean to you? And he said to me quickly, he said, it's the interim step to communism. And you have to think about that. That is the correct answer. So is, and I think communism, or how it's being used now, and socialism too, is the interim step to Islamism. And I think that's where Mandami isn't a socialist, he isn't a communist, he's an Islamist. And they're using the Democratic Party to take over and to get to that direction. That's how I feel. All right, continue, guys. You guys are very interesting.
I think the ultimate mark of socialism, right? I mean, an expanded safety net is not socialism, right? You could have a vigorous capitalist economy like Scandinavian countries do. In fact, in some ways, are more deregulated than we are economically, but they have massive safety nets. That's not a socialist. Socialism is the state owning the means of production.
That's right.
And that is what Trump is zealously doing, right? With the U.S. Steel merger and with Intel. I mean, I think Trump has a socialist bent to him, right? He likes the government having control of private corporations, right? I think Trump ultimately has some socialist sympathies. I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm just saying I think Trump has a socialist temper.
I mean, I'm putting stuff in the chat on what the DSA has been publishing, including getting a new constitution. I just thought I'd share that.
I mean, this is where Trump and the DSA kind of line up on the government owning companies. I think
He hasn't called for a new constitution, Scott.
He has not. I don't think Trump read the first constitution.
He doesn't care about a constitution. That's the difference.
Well, you may think that. Some of us would debate.
No, he's taking.
We disagree with you.
Well, that's great.
But we're sitting in the U.S., Daniel, you're sitting in Canada. I mean,
Well, yeah, he is.
and so for those of us, and by the way, great USA.
You can always tell, Scott, when you hear somebody attack my Canadianness.
No, I'm just saying, I'm sitting in the birthplace of
Have
it.
you noticed that?
I'm sitting in the birthplace of it, thank you. Which everyone is walking around shouting USA, USA. By the way, it's been beautiful. Can I just give a shout out to the United States, because the last couple days,
Sure, I love it.
with baseball in Philly and having the All-Star game on our 250th anniversary, it's been phenomenal. Democrats and Republicans together walking around wearing red, white, and blue. Walking around wearing red, white, and blue, both National League and American League coming together, all shouting USA, USA in a huge stadium, and walking around the streets of the birthplace of America in red, white, and blue in the last few days has just been a wonderful sight to see. And it's great when you see that in America. And here it is in the birthplace where it all happened 250 years later. And the whole country just coming in to, I don't know what the viewership was in the last 2 days of the Home Run Derby or the All-Star game, but it's great to see all kinds of Americans, D's and R's together, shouting USA. There you
That's
go.
our national pastime, and it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You're
And
right.
I'm at a quiet moment, but a shout out here to the United States and how great it is to see that.
And the biggest shout out to the MVP of the All-Star game with the Yankees.
Yeah, all right. I wasn't going to go there, Jules, but
But you got to be frightening. You got to be frightened what the DSA is putting out. They're eliminating the Constitution, Congress, the presidency. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And
It's not
that's
serious.
why.
It's not a serious platform, right?
Oh, no, what do you mean it's not? It's the DSA.
I mean, they may be
platform.
serious about it, but it's not as serious. It's not.
It's not serious. It's serious to them.
Yeah,
That's where their minds. How come anything I say about Trump, and I have criticism about it, but anything I say good, he's not serious. You know?
No, I'm not saying the DSA are insincere. I'm not saying they're insincere. I'm saying the platform is not serious.
cut and paste their platform and the article about it from the City Journal. I just put in the chat when you get a chance. Read it.
Oh, I've looked at the DSA's platform.
And you see the City Journal article.
I mean, for the benefit of the room and people who are driving and
Oh, divisive, you make me do that. You sound so much better when you speak, but
you have a beautiful speaking voice.
the City Journal did an expose on them and just broke down the concept of workers deserve more, which they're saying rebooted the platform for featuring a host of radical proposals, and it's basic, it's the takeover of property, I mean, I can go through the list of this.
They're against innovators. They're against the great innovators of America. How many millionaires Elon Musk made? People, his janitor became a multi-millionaire because he paid him partly in stock. So, come on.
Oh my God.
We don't,
The abolition of the electoral college. We can start with, we can go with that.
Yeah.
The establishment of public ownership and the largest corporations and of the largest corporations and the essential and all essential industries to ensure that it's public control. So, I mean, defunding the Department of War, close overseas bases, end all economic sanctions, which would include those in states like Iran and Cuba and Russia.
When your podcast is done, Abby, thanks.
I'm reading the City Journal article, which I was asked to read. You can like it or not, but I'm reading.
I'm just wondering if other people are allowed to speak who have different opinions.
It's not my opinion. Would you like to be
She asked herself.
Excuse me. What would you like to read the platform? Go ahead.
I'd like to ask you a question, Abby, if I could.
Sure.
So you were just saying a
home
moment
run
ago.
derby and what Schwarber should have won.
So you're a sports fan. Sure, let's go there. You're a huge sports fan. So in the interest of integrity and ethics, let me guess, you fully condone and agree with the president literally like being a John Gotti mob boss and calling the head of FIFA to insist that a player be reinstated? Do you think that's ethical in the name of sports and journalists?
Can you move him down until you're done?
The John Gotti mob boss. What do you know about the mob, the Moose? I know more about the mob than you know about the mob.
Answer the question.
I live in Las Vegas, babe. Can we tell you about the mob and how they built
Just
my
answer the
city?
question.
So,
Just
what do you
answer the
think,
question.
Jules? Do you think that
Is
a
that
lot of
okay?
people in
Is that
Vegas
okay
think
that the
the
president of the
city
United
ran
States
better
called
when it
FIFA?
had the mob
Daniel,
there?
to see how they do this,
Now that
they
it
just
doesn't.
ignore it.
Just with
My God,
respect to that.
Abby, forget the mob.
However,
Just answer the question.
problem is,
Answer the question.
Moose, I'm not a soccer fan. I'm a baseball fan. So, and I'm ice hockey, which Daniel and I can
It's a
argue about the ice
sport.
hockey if you'd like to hear us go back and forth on that. So I really can't
If-
comment on
if he-
soccer.
Okay, so
But
if you
maybe
called on hockey,
Jebediah and
would
I
that be
will talk
okay?
about football and how the Cowgirls are doing this year, Jebediah. So
Would that
should we
be
talk
okay?
about
Would that be okay if you called baseball? Called the head of the commissioner of baseball?
you ever-
Pick a sport. I don't
What do
care.
you know
Is
about
that okay?
baseball, Moose? What do you know about baseball?
My God, Daniel, are you hearing this? This is Abby, even for you. This is
It's
remarkable.
remarkable. Really remarkable. I don't know anything about soccer.
So simple question. You're an educated, very intelligent
But why'd
woman.
you say that this is John
Do
Gotti?
you worship the Messiah that much? You was a joke
Why'd
for
you
a
say
while.
this is
Come
John
on.
Gotti? Jebediah,
People
what do you
use
What do you want me to do here? I want this
Boy.
guy taken down. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
What's being ridiculous? How
Well,
do
you're
let us
an
know?
asshole.
Daniel, would you like to comment?
I'm being an asshole because I'm asking you about if you think it's okay the president calls FIFA.
And do you have some of
Jebediah,
this?
do you
what I
want
was
to answer?
reading
Do you want to
in,
answer?
I'm glad he called FIFA. What the hell? I mean, he didn't win. We didn't win. We got karma down. So, fuck that.
Oh,
I gotta go in Gary's room. Sorry, guys.
I gotta go too.
Yeah, we have to do Gary's room. We have to shut this down. Starting.
Okay.
undocumented immigrants is subject to removal. So that's pretty much, I guess, where we are on this issue. People are dying, not in large numbers, but people are dying or being wounded as a result of immigration enforcement in the country.